April 14th, 2016. And according to the Washington Examiner, it seems that the Internal Revenue Service has been, well, in effect, encouraging illegal immigrants to file tax returns using fraudulent Social Security numbers. And lawmakers are calling for his ouster. Quote, I think it certainly is appropriate to talk about new leadership. End quote. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, a Republican who sits on the Senate Finance Committee, told the Washington Examiner. John Koskinen, the current IRS commissioner, on Tuesday told Scott's committee that the agency does not take action when tax returns are submitted using fraudulent personal information. And this is how they, according to the Washington Examiner, effectively encourage illegal immigrants to file tax returns using fraudulent Social Security numbers. It's my guess that it's not just illegal immigrants who use fraudulent Social Security numbers, okay, people? Commissioner Koskinen said, quote, it's not the normal identity theft situation, end quote. Koskinen adding that it helps the government to collect more revenue. Well, I think it's a damn shame that they're encouraging when they're not even helping the people themselves earn more revenue. And members continued to press Koskinen on the issue on Wednesday when he testified before a panel of the House Small Business Committee. Quote, if folks are here illegally, I get that you want to collect tax revenue, but should any agency go along with what it knows to be illegal activity? Asked Virginian Republican Representative Dave Bratt. Well, Koskinen held firm, saying his agency's main goal is to maximize revenue, not to enforce law. Quote, the tax code is set up, and our obligation, everybody who is earning money has an obligation to pay taxes, and we do everything we can to make sure they pay those taxes, he said. To the extent that to get the employment, they've borrowed or somehow gotten a Social Security number, that's not a jurisdiction we have. Our job is to make sure people pay the taxes they owe from the earnings they've had, he added. To the extent that they're here under circumstances that don't meet the immigration laws or don't correspond with the Social Security Administration, it's really other agencies' job to pursue that.
He said that the handling of those tax-exempt applications in that process at the IRS was outrageous and intolerable. No excuse. And as much as we know that the folks at IRS have a thankless job because they have to go and tell their fellow Americans that they may be audited or they have to do this work understaffed, we have to maintain the confidence in the system because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes. Agreed. And so you're right, it was a foolish mistake, but the president's even more correct that it was outrageous and intolerable. Now, let me also focus on something, Mr. George, you said. When you were asked, was there any finding or evidence of political motivation here? You said no. That's correct, sir. And so what we find is a situation where inexcusable activity took place because it erodes the confidence of the American people in a system where they participate voluntarily. And if there's a place in public service where you have to have the highest level of conduct and standards, it's at the IRS. And so, Mr. Miller, I think it's unfortunate for those who are in positions of authority, but the buck has to stop somewhere. And I think that's exactly what we're saying. That should not diminish the good work that has been done by anyone within the IRS over the years. And so I hope you understand that you are here today talking to us because we need to get to the bottom of this. We need to clean up and clear out so we can go back to the business of making sure that people respect the fact that we have a voluntary system
This
of
has
paying our
been Me the
taxes.
People. Break this news.